This is China's Xiamen skyline. Just across the water, Taiwan's Kinmen Islands. China once controlled Taiwan and is determined to do so again, threatening to use force if necessary, demonstrating its immense military might. So why does China believe Taiwan belongs to it? Let's dive in. In his New Year's address, President Xi Jinping said reunification with Taiwan is inevitable.
I personally would say this is more of the rhetoric. It has to be said that Taiwan is always part of China from Xi's perspective.
Jinyi Li is the director of the Taiwan Research Hub at the University of Nottingham. What does China want with Taiwan? Why is reunification such a big goal?
It is more about us to bring Taiwan back as their centuries or histories, dream or expectation that Taiwan has to be back to the motherland to complete the territory or the map of China. It is not logical. It is not rational.
Taiwan split politically from China in 1949 following civil war. The two are divided by the Taiwan Strait, 160 kilometers at its narrowest point, cutting through the East and South China Seas. Taiwanese people have their own constitution, national flag, holidays. They're governed democratically and independently of China. Taiwan has two political parties that have formed government since the island became democratic. One favors closer ties with Beijing. Decades ago, that party, the Kuomintang, came to an understanding with China. It's known as the 1992 Consensus. It includes the idea of one China. But the Kuomintang and Beijing have differing opinions on exactly what that means. To make things more complicated, the Democratic Progressive Party, which has ruled the island since 2016, doesn't recognize the 1992 Consensus. Experts say there's a shrinking appetite for full reunification in Taiwan.
There is certainly a generational shift. The older generation was a lot more likely to be for unification, and the younger generation a lot less likely.
Most Taiwanese people want to maintain the status quo, and yet China maintains its one China policy, which lumps Taiwan under Beijing's control. What does the rest of the world think? Only 13 countries have diplomatic ties with Taiwan. The United States officially acknowledges China's perspective, but has informal ties with Taiwan. President Biden has even made statements that angered Beijing.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's a commitment we made.
A major conflict in the Strait would result in thousands of casualties and jeopardize more than $2 trillion in global economic activity, igniting a global economic depression. Here's why. Taiwan is the world's largest supplier of semiconductor microchips, chips that go into most smartphones and other gadgets, making it essential to the world's economy. The island's location is also strategically important for the U.S. Outgoing President Tsai Ing-wen has repeatedly defended Taiwan's sovereignty, even as China has issued political sanctions and waged cyber attacks. She has increased the small island's military spending and made mandatory military service longer.
Taiwan needs to have some self-defense system. Taiwan would never be able to compete with China, but it is legitimate to defend our country a little bit further.
Are you worried about the threat of a hot war with China?
The worry has been with me for all my life. So yes, it is worry, but I think most of the Taiwanese people would say life carries on.